First at noon, 300 more Hawaii healthcare workers are on the picket lines today. The workers from Kapiolani Medical Center say they're striking over unfair labor practices, wages, and benefits. The Teamsters Union represents Kapiolani's technicians, housekeeping, food service staff, and more. Their most recent contract expired at the end of June, and the union says the strike comes after months of failed negotiations left them no alternative. Among the demands, higher wages and improved working conditions. Now, the strike is open-ended, which means there is no set end date. The hospital says programs and services will not be interrupted, and a temporary workforce has been secured.
We want to continue to move forward and negotiate with the Teamsters Union. We have a very generous offer on the table with benefits. And as I shared, on average, we have over 4% in their paychecks as a pay increase with a bonus. And that is just for the first year. And those are competitive wages in this community.
It's not enough. 4% raise, it's still, you're looking at about 30 to 40% below livable wage average. And a bonus is, it's really nothing what they're giving. It's shame. It's actually shameful on them to even think that such increases they're giving right now, because we're out here on strike, is actually going to get these people back to work.
Kapiolani Medical Center says patient care should not be impacted by the strike. The Teamsters Union says they will not return to work until their demands are met. Meanwhile, the state says the number of illnesses potentially linked to recalled Medigold chocolate milk is now up to 15. Health officials say kids got sick at 4 schools on Oahu that received the milk. They say 2 other campuses on Maui and Oahu reported product quality issues only. The DOH is testing samples, but inspectors have not found any food safety violations at the affected schools. Medigold has said that initial testing at its production facility found no contamination. It's day 17 of the government shutdown, now the 3rd longest in modern history, and lawmakers show no signs of progress in reaching a deal to end their funding stalemate. Democrats refuse to support a short-term spending bill unless the measure extends health insurance subsidies that expire at the end of the year. Republicans say that issue will have to wait until the government reopens. On Thursday, the Senate failed to pass a bill to fund the Pentagon for a full year. Republicans, of course, pointed the finger at Democrats.
They are on record specifically and exclusively to block the paychecks of the troops, to block the funding of our national defense in a very dangerous moment in world history. It is absurd to us.
We look forward to sitting down with anyone, anytime, any place, either here at the Capitol or back at the White House, to reopen the government, to enact a spending agreement that actually makes life better for the American people, while also addressing decisively the Republican health care crisis.
Democrats have called on President Trump to take a more proactive role in negotiations, but a White House official says the president has no plans to personally intervene. State leaders say Hawaii has lost about $22 million in federal grants meant for agriculture. USDA offices are either closed or operating at a limited capacity because of the shutdown. And the Hawaii Food Bank, which also lost about $4 million in funding, says it's been serving more people than during the pandemic.
Even if the government reopens and folks get back pay with some of these changes that are going into place with the SNAP cuts, and just the continuing trend that we're seeing, I will say I am concerned about the ability of the food banks and the charitable food network to manage this on our own.
When a federal program is paused or delayed, there isn't another regional office around the corner to help. A missed delivery or suspended grant payment can ripple quickly through an operation, affecting workers, suppliers, and even local food programs.
Hawaii's agriculture chairperson did also say when the government is back online, the Trump administration's policies are farmer-friendly and favor production. Meanwhile, the University of Hawaii is tapping its reserve funds to cover payroll for workers that are affected by the congressional gridlock. UH President Wendy Hensel told the Board of Regents yesterday that thousands of UH employees are either fully or partially funded by federal dollars. It's standard for universities to be reimbursed for those salaries after the shutdown ends, but Hensel says they're monitoring the situation.
Challenge really is one primarily of cash flow. It is upwards of $20 million a month. $20 million a pay period every 2 weeks in order to do that. So we believe we are in good shape through the end of the month.
Hensel also said 81 grants have been cut by the federal government. That's more than $108 million in funding that will end in the coming year. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky visited President Trump this afternoon, asking for a weapon he says is important for bringing Russia to peace negotiations. Erica Brown has more from the White House.
President Trump, sir, do you believe you can convince Vladimir Putin to end the war in Ukraine?
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky arrived at the White House Friday for talks with President Trump about ending his country's war with Russia.
We have to get together. It's a very small group of people. It's the president, and the president. Okay, 3 presidents. And I'm the mediator president.
Zelensky says he's ready to negotiate and is pushing for a ceasefire, but claims Russian President Vladimir Putin is not serious about peace. Zelensky is also requesting American-made Tomahawk missiles to bolster the fight against Russia.
We understand what we need to push Putin to negotiation table.
President Trump says he's considering sending the missiles, though Moscow warns it would be a major escalation.
It could mean big, escalation. It could mean a lot of bad things can happen. Tomahawks are a big deal.
The high-stakes meeting today comes after Thursday's more than 2-hour phone call between President Trump and President Putin. They agreed to meet for another round of face-to-face talks in Hungary.
Aren't you concerned that maybe the Russian president is trying to buy himself more time?
Yeah, I am, but, I've been played all my life by the best of them, and I came out really well. So it's possible, a little time. It's all right.
President Trump's last meeting with Putin in Alaska ended without a breakthrough as peace talks appear to stall. But the president says he is confident a deal can be reached to end the war in Ukraine. Erica Brown, CBS News, the White House.
On Kauai, 24-year-old Bronze Robson has been arrested after allegedly setting on under a parked car before exploding. Fortunately, no one was hurt. Robson was arrested for reckless endangering and is being held at the KPD cell block. His bail is set at $1,000. Also on the Garden Isle, community members on the South Shore have rallied to protect dozens of trees that were threatened by a safety improvement project on Poipu Road. The county started the $70 million project this week to add 3 new roundabouts, along with new sidewalks and crosswalks, continuous bike lanes, and bus stops with shelters. But residents became suspicious when ribbons appeared on many of the trees lining the roadway.
The plans, when we did the site visit, was pretty much all of those golden, what is called trumpet trees, were going to be removed. And that was what caused the community to be upset.
The County Public Works Department told the Kauai County Council that the trees were not included in the original plans. The plans have now been changed to save most of the trees. The improvement project is expected to be completed at the end of the year 2027. On Maui, a new beginning for hundreds of Lahaina fire survivors. The first affordable housing project opened since the 2023 fire disaster. And as our Chelsea Davis reports, it's fully occupied.
Amy Sanchez, her partner Jacob, their twin daughters Stella and Luna, and their son Asher have called Kaiaulu o Kuku'ia home for the past 10 months.
We were able to move in here on Christmas Day. So it was kind of like, like a Christmas miracle thing, but it's actually settling in that this is home now. I don't have to keep moving. I don't have to keep checking in with anybody.
They are one of nearly 200 families now living in Lahaina's first permanent affordable housing complex since the 2023 fire disaster. Right off the Lahaina bypass, the development has 25 garden-style buildings comprised of 2, 3, and 4-bedroom apartment homes. Everyone here makes less than 60% of the area's median income, so their rents are based on their earnings. For Kahikilani Niles, it's a place for her family to thrive.
I can breathe again, and most of all, I can dream again. I never imagined living in a 4-bedroom home with AC as a single mom of 3. But today, that is my reality.
The homes include plantation-style architecture, hard flooring, and energy-efficient appliances. Developer Douglas Bigley showed us around.
This is the community garden right here. And so you're going to do, we have 2 of these. And so we're going to have programs on campus where the community is going to come in and teach kids how to grow food, and then we have compost piles here.
The community includes playgrounds, barbecue and picnic areas, and a tuition-free preschool slated to open next year.
Welcome to our classroom. So here at Bezos Academy, we are a Montessori-inspired tuition-free preschool. Again, we offer preschool at no cost to families, and we are very excited to open our school in the fall of 2026.
The first Bezos Academy in Hawaii. 40 children ages 3 to 5 will engage in activities rooted in Hawaiian culture 5 days a week. Meals and snacks will be provided.
Our enrollment will open sometime in the spring of 2026. But before that, we're going to be looking to hire some great teachers. Locally is so super important to us. And so that will probably begin sometime January 2026.
Look for more on HawaiiNewsNow.com. Reporting in Lahaina, I'm Chelsea Davis for Hawaii News Now.
Aloha on this Friday. It's going to be a pretty wet day today, especially for Kauai and Oahu, because we're closest to that storm. We're going to see some isolated thunderstorms as well as scattered showers. But the thing is, with the winds blowing brisk and breezy, the showers will be moving along quickly, and that will limit the rainfall buildups. But there's still a chance for some heavy downpours, and some flooding is likely, probably for parts of Kauai. And we're looking at a rising north-northwest swell in the country below advisory levels.
Thank you, Guy. The second segment of Skyline opened to the public this week with packed trains and excited riders. Daryl Huff went to test it out and found out how long it takes to get from West Oahu to UH Manoa.
It took me about 20 minutes to get from my home in Makakilo down here through the park and ride and to the platform. Now we'll see how long it takes us to get all the way to the University of Hawaii at Manoa.
I'm heading into classes at UH Manoa.
As she rolls by the emerging Ho'opili subdivision, Lydia Salas also looks forward to using the rail bus connections to work.
Because normally I drive, but I like to cut down on that so I have time to study and things like that while I'm commuting.
And she wasn't the only one planning ahead.
We wanted to be one of the first to see the extension. We're interested in going to the airport to see what that's like. So for future travel plans, we want to see how easy it is to get to the gate.
The Samala family were thrilled to see the planes they planned to board.
Yeah, very exciting. We've been waiting for this, been excited. We got lucky that it's open today and we fly out today, so stoked about that.
Bound for Phoenix, they got off at the airport stop with plenty of time to spare and no need for expensive parking. We're getting off here at the Lagoon Drive station. We're going to see how these express buses are working out downstairs. City employees holding signs signaled the importance of getting off here instead of at the next and last station at Middle Street. On the sidewalk, UH student Aaron Natividad waited for the U-Line Express to Manoa.
The U-Line goes directly on the H1 freeway to UH, which is pretty cool. But the downside, it comes every hour or so. But if you time it perfectly, you can get there in pretty efficient time, which is really cool.
But today, unfortunately, it wasn't efficient. The U-Line not due for another 45 minutes, so he chose the A-Line Express instead, which hurried down Lagoon Drive onto Nimitz Highway and then to brave the rush hour jam at the Middle Street Tunnel. But within minutes, it was at highway speed headed downtown. 15 minutes after leaving Lagoon Drive, it was at King and Punch Bowl, where council member Matt Wire was thrilled with his total 50-minute commute from Waikele.
Got off at Lagoon Drive, and then the A was right there, right outside the station to jump on. Super easy.
The A line then heads for Manoa, and another 15 minutes later, the students pile out at Sinclair Circle. The U line stops on East-West Road. The new system today meeting its promise of west side to town commutes of about an hour. Daryl Huff, Hawaii News Now.
Ahead on This Is Now, a bizarre claim from President Trump about one of Hawaii's U.S. senators. Plus, the president's former national security advisor turned vocal critic pleads not guilty to federal charges that he allegedly mishandled classified documents. Welcome back. President Trump answered questions from reporters this afternoon during his meeting with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. Now, during the press event, the president criticized Hawaii Senator Mazie Hirono, claiming she is pushing for plans to build a train that would run from the mainland to Hawaii.
Well, we had a senator that wanted, remember, from Hawaii, she wanted a tunnel from the mainland to Hawaii. And she said, well, we can't do that, so we're going to build a railroad to Hawaii. Do you remember? She's a current sitting senator, a Democrat. She wants a railroad to go to Hawaii, right? You know who that is, right? She's another.
Senator Hirono was not immediately available for a full response. However, she commented simply, yet another unhinged Trump comment. And another critic of President Trump has been indicted by a grand jury. This time, it's John Bolton, Trump's former national security advisor. Scott McFarland is in Washington with details on the charges he's facing.
Mr. Bolton, how are you feeling?
John Bolton didn't speak as he left federal court in Maryland Friday. Inside, the 76-year-old pleaded not guilty to 18 felony counts. The charges allege Bolton shared more than 1,000 pages of highly sensitive information about his day-to-day activities in the White House, including classified national defense information, some of it top secret, and allegedly some of which he emailed in diary-like entries to relatives between April 2018 and September 2019. 2 months ago, federal agents searched Bolton's home in Maryland and his office in Washington. Bolton says he's innocent, calling the charges part of Trump's, quote, intensive effort to intimidate his opponents to ensure that he alone determines what is said about his conduct. The president reacted to the indictment Thursday.
I think he's a bad guy. Yeah, he's a bad guy.
Bolton's case is the third in a series of new criminal cases against Trump rivals, coming just days after former FBI Director James Comey and New York Attorney General Letitia James were charged in Virginia. Both also deny any wrongdoing.
this indictment is definitely much more substantial than the indictments we saw against Jim Comey and Tish James. It paints a picture, allegedly, of a defendant who is careless with classified information, with information concerning the national defense.
Another difference, Bolton's case is being run by a career national security prosecutor, while the ones against Comey and James being run by Trump political appointee Lindsey Halligan. Scott McFarland, CBS News, Washington.
Let's take a live look outside now with our tower cam looking out at Honolulu Harbor on this Aloha Friday. We made it to the weekend, everybody. Guys, going to be back with your full forecast, and we have a little bit of red in the forecast, so you may want to tune in. Don't go away.
First Alert Weather with Guy Hug.
Aloha on this Friday. The potent storm system is dropping in closer to the state. It's especially close to Kauai, so there is a flood watch posted for Kauai. That means flooding conditions are possible. Flooding not yet occurring, but flooding conditions are possible. Notice as that thunderstorm activity moves closer to the Garden Island. But there's still a chance for isolated thunderstorms for Oahu as well. We're seeing fewer showers for the east end of the state, but they will get some windward and Mauka showers today as well. So the biggest threat for rainfall is on Kauai and Oahu today. There will be scattered showers throughout the day. But the thing is, because the winds will run breezy for today, the showers will be moving along. That limits the rainfall from building up too much, and that limits the possibility for flooding. But again, remember that flood watch is on for Kauai until noontime. And there is a chance for isolated thunderstorms for Kauai and for Oahu today. And there will still be some dry spots for Maui County and Hawaii Island. Now, the surf's going to get a boost today out of the north-northwest. And, with those breezy winds, might be a little bit choppy. And there's still one more day of box jellyfish, although the South Shores do have some fun, maybe belly-high waves. So we've got wet weather today, right? First alert conditions out there. And we are going to get fewer showers, but still going to be a little bit damp from time to time through the weekend. And notice the winds will start to back down starting on Sunday. And then another disturbance moves in, more showers Monday and Tuesday. So next week looks to be a little bit soggy.
Sounds good, Guy. Thank you. Still to come, a North Carolina hospital throws a surprise wedding for a couple who had to cancel their big day for their baby's arrival. We have that sweet story coming up in today's Good News Now. everyone. It's time for some good news. A North Carolina couple's wedding plans had to be scrapped after the surprise arrival of their baby. But the hospital staff decided to step in and give them their special day. Photojournalist Jacob Sapp shows us how it all came together.
She woke me up this morning and she was like, you know, my water broke. And I'm like, you're kidding me, right? I was like, we're supposed to get married today. From there, you know, we're just trying to figure out how we could still get the marriage going. Talk to the nurses. Next thing you know, that was like the news around the hospital. I'm hearing it. It was crazy. Then, you know, they came in and it was like, hey guys, we got it going.
She said, do you know anyone who, a chaplain that can do a wedding because the mother and the bride-to-be have gone into labor. And I said, how quickly do you need the wedding? And she said, pretty quick. It was very clear to me when I met them to begin with that this was something that they wanted. They had prepared for it to be part of this humongous day for them. With the joining of hands and the giving and receiving of rings, I announce to you that they are husband and wife. I don't take any of this for granted. This hospital has been a place for birth and life and healing and hope, and it's important to me to be able to be part of it.
It was the perfect setting, perfect moment. I really appreciate everybody for what they did, especially the minister for coming out and making this happen for us. This is definitely one for the numbers. Like this is definitely one for the numbers. So 10 years from now, I mean 30, 40 years from now, I will always like draw back to this moment right here. This is very special.
Very sweet. What a big day for celebrations for that couple. Thanks for watching. This is Now Everyone. More news first at 4 right here on KHNL. Happy Aloha Friday.